Have you ever had a Black Monday, a moment where you felt you finally had your life under control, only for the universe to reach down and snatch it all away? Maybe it was a career you spent a decade building, a relationship you thought was the one, or even your health suddenly failing you. In the West, we call this a midlife crisis, or burnout. Part 1. The Crisis at Eagle Grief Ocean. In the ancient Chinese masterpiece Journey to the West, this is the 9th tribulation, the loss of the horse at Eagle Grief Ocean. Tang Sanzang, the monk, and his protector, the Monkey King, Sun Wukong, arrive at the desolate freezing place called Eagle Grief Ocean. It is so quiet that even eagles are afraid to fly over it. Suddenly the water explodes. A magnificent white dragon leaps out, and in one terrifying second, it doesn't attack the monk. It swallows his horse whole and vanishes back into the deep. How do we react to this loss? Look at our protagonists. Tang Sanzang represents our anxiety. He collapses, he cries. He is a man of faith, but in this moment, he is just a human who lost his vehicle. Without a horse, he feels he cannot move forward. Sun Wukong represents our ego. He is furious. He wants to beat the ocean, kill the dragon, and find someone to blame. He tries to solve a spiritual problem with pure violence. How does the divine reveal? Just as Wukong is about to boil the ocean in rage, the goddess of mercy, Guanyin, appears. She stops the fight and reveals a shocking truth. This was not an accident, it was an appointment. The dragon was actually a prince, Ao Li, who had been sentenced to wait in that cold water specifically for this monk. The tragedy was orchestrated by the heavens. Why? Because the horse the monk was riding was a mortal horse. It could never survive the 108,000 li of demons and mountains ahead. The universe had to evict the old horse to make room for a dragon. Part 2. The Logic of the Divine Upgrade. The law of displacement. In physics, two objects cannot occupy the same space at the same time. In your life, the same rule applies. You cannot receive the dragon while your hands are still white-knuckling the reins of a pony. Mortal tools versus divine vehicles. The mortal horse represents our comfort zones, the predictable jobs, the safe habits, the superficial ego. These tools work on flat ground, but they fail during a soul transformation. If the heavens have a God-tier destination for you, they will not let you travel there on mortal-tier equipment. The tempering in the cold water. Think about the dragon, Ao Li. He waited in that freezing water for years. This is what we call the wilderness period in the West. It's that time in your life when you feel stuck, underutilized, or invisible. But this period wasn't just punishment, it was tempering. The dragon had to lose his prince ego to become a horse for the monk. This is the ultimate spiritual paradox. To become a vehicle for greatness, you must first learn to be humble. Everything is an arrangement. This tribulation teaches us that loss is often just a forced upgrade. The universe didn't take your horse because it wanted you to walk. It took your horse because it wanted you to fly. Part 3. The Wisdom of Longevity. Jiang and Sai Weng. The Sai Weng philosophy, the old man at the ford. There is a famous Chinese proverb, Sai Weng lost his horse. How could we know it wasn't a blessing? An old man loses his horse, a tragedy, but the horse returns with a herd of wild stallions, a blessing. Then his son falls off a stallion and breaks his leg, a tragedy, but because of the broken leg, the son is spared from a bloody war, the ultimate blessing. The lesson? Human obsession is with temporary possession. Divine arrangement is for the ultimate destination. A living example. Young Jiang, the centenarian sage. To understand mental healing and longevity, we look at the late Yang Jiang, a renowned Chinese writer who lived to be 105. She was a woman of immense dragon horse spirit. Yang Jiang produced the first complete Chinese translation of Don Quixote directly from the Spanish original. It was first published in 1978. She began teaching herself Spanish in 1959 specifically to translate the book after finding English and French versions unsuitable. She started the translation in 1962, but was forced to stop twice during the Cultural Revolution. To this day, her version is widely considered the definitive translation in China. In the late 1990s, when she was already in her 80s, she hit her own ego grief ocean. Within 1 year, she lost her only daughter to cancer, followed shortly by her husband, the famous scholar Chan Zhongshu. She lost her white horses, the people who were her world. How did she survive? She didn't collapse into permanent despair like Tang Sanzang. She didn't lash out at the world like Wukong. Instead, she entered a state of spiritual resignation. She spent her 90s and 100s cleaning up the family's legacy, translating Greek philosophy, the work of Plato's Phaedo, from the English into Chinese, a philosophical meditation on the soul and the afterlife that served as an enterprise to commemorate her family and find consolation. And she wrote her masterpiece, We Three. She lived for nearly 20 more years with a mind as clear as a bell and a heart as calm as a lake. She understood that while her mortal family had left the physical world, her dragon spirit was still required to complete the journey. She didn't just endure her loss, she transformed it into a legacy that healed millions of readers. The dragon horse spirit. In Chinese culture, we wish people dragon horse spirit. It isn't just about being energetic. The dragon represents our inner power, our wild dreams, and our connection to the divine. The horse represents our discipline, our grounding, and our ability to walk the earth. When you have dragon horse spirit, you have power under control. You are no longer a mortal horse driven by fear. You are a dragon, serving a higher purpose. Conclusion for the modern creator. To those watching this, perhaps you are frustrated that your videos aren't getting views, or your business isn't growing. Maybe you feel like you've been losing your horse for months. Look at the water. Stop crying over the pony. Your 100 video isn't a failure. It's the cold water period. It's the universe testing if you're ready to handle the dragon. Man's obsession is temporary possession. The divine arrangement is the best arrangement. Stop trying to own the journey and start riding it. When you let go of the mortal horse, the dragon finally has room to breathe. If you are standing by your own ego grief ocean today, leave a dragon in the comments. Tell us what horse you've lost, and let's look for the dragon together. I'm Eddie. Keep walking because your dragon is already in the water, waiting for you to call its name.